Hi, this is Browns beat writer Nate Ulrich with our columnist Marla Ridenour and Browns beat writer Steve Doerschuk. We're here at First Energy Stadium after the preseason finale. The Browns beat the Lions 20-16, but of course, what matters way more is how guys played, and a lot of bubble guys were on the field, very few starters. So we're each going to kind of go through who we think helped themselves tonight heading into cutdown weekend and who we think hurt themselves. So Marla, you want to kick it off with a guy who helped himself tonight?
I'd have to say Devereaux Lawrence. He had a sack that I really thought was kind of a tone setter. That's something that he might be able to do during the regular season. Also, he got held on Chad Thomas's sack, so I thought he was very disruptive, kind of beast mode, and I thought he made a great impression. He might not have been on the bubble, but if he was, I thought he really helped himself.
Steve, you got a guy who you think strengthened his case tonight?
Got a guy, and it goes back to not what he did tonight, but what he did in the first game, and that's Chad Thomas. Chad Thomas, I was isolated on for a number of plays in the first game, and he was really effective in the first game. Kind of the guy that John Dorsey probably imagined drafting when he spent the third pick of the third round on Chad Thomas last year. But after that strong preseason opener, he got hurt, and he didn't play again until tonight. But he strengthened his case by coming up with a sack and reminding everyone, and including Dorsey and the decision makers, that he did look like he had made a significant stride in that preseason opener against Washington. So Chad Thomas is my guy.
I'm going to go with a guy I think the Browns will cut, but I still think he helped himself in terms of his overall audition for the rest of the league because, let's be honest, that's what this is for so many guys. They're auditioning for all 32 teams, including the one they're on, and I think that's Jamie Gillan, the Scottish Hammer. He did all the punting tonight, but more importantly, I think that it was nice for him to be the holder for a successful kicking night for Austin Seibert, who obviously really helped himself. But that one's almost too obvious. But Seibert ends the preseason really strong, 4 for 4 in Tampa, 2 for 2 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points tonight. Gillan was the holder on all of them, and it's significant because Gillan was his college team's punter and place kicker, so he had zero holding experience coming into this. So Gillan's a great story and everything. I just think that it would be a surprise if he knocked Britt and Colquitt off this roster. But I think Gillan can catch on somewhere else. So, Steve, I guess I'll go back around this way. Who do you think hurt himself?
Tonight, a guy we probably didn't even suspect was going to have a chance to help himself was on the field to start the game, and he was the target on a deep pass from Garrett Gilbert right away. The pass was right in his hands, and then it wasn't in his hands. So that drop followed directly by a little pass right in front of Freddie Kitchens, was right in his bread basket, and it bounced off his body and was incomplete. So even though afterwards Freddie said one of the things he liked about tonight's game was Ish. He called him Ish. It's Ishmael Hyman, but I guess I'll call him Ish now since we're best buddies, even though I'm about to cut him. But Ish came back, according to Freddie, and had a nice game. He had 61 yards worth of catches, so he did. So
5 receptions, I think.
Right. Even though Freddie threw him a lifeline after the game, I think those 2 plays early on were his death knell in terms of making the roster.
I view it the same way. I do. And I think Freddie was being generous there. And, the guy did bounce back, but I don't know. I viewed it the same way. I thought that was a backbreaking moment for him. Marla, your guy who hurt himself.
Oh, I'm going to have to go with Seth DeValve. Had a drop pass, really didn't stand out. And I've been harping about I don't like these backup tight ends, and none of them looked good in my opinion. And especially, but I thought him being the veteran, he knew going into the game, talked the other day, he knew how big this was for him. And I really didn't think he made it hardly an impression at all, and what he did wasn't good.
Yeah, he said he's fighting for a roster spot, and he had 2 targets. One of them was a drop and another for a short gain, so it's going to be very tough for him. I think that's going to be a position on Sunday that we're going to see them pick somebody up off the waiver wire. For my guy who hurt himself, Damon Sheehy-Giuseppe, I thought that he had to make plays as a receiver to show that he's more than a return specialist. And throughout camp and the preseason, I didn't see that enough. And he also muffed a punt tonight, and that's, the one thing that they really were banking on him doing. He's another tremendous story and a guy you want to root for because of that story, but I think he was a long shot to begin with. He had a great moment, probably the most heartwarming moment of the preseason when he returned the punt for a touchdown in the opener, and the whole team mobbed him in the end zone right over here. But I don't think it was nearly enough, so I don't have him making the 53, but we will be covering Cut Down Weekend, and there might be some surprises. You never know. It almost is never chalk, so stay tuned to Ohio.com and CannonRep.com. Thanks for watching.